certain extent beyond our control to evacuate the building. Do not look back. Do not stop.
Yes, now time for the magic words. There is no expectation of privacy in the public.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Good to see so many people here bright and early, ready to go, getting the day started the right way. There's so many good people in here this morning, as always. We got Kim Crawford in the house. We got Cliff Hickson. Hello, welcome. We got Susan, the sassy old great granny. And let's see, we got I Kiss. Yes, good to see you. Let's see. Glad I hope you're feeling better. Um, Let's see. Uh, Kim Crawford, I Kiss, Terry Barnes. Hello, commentator, auditor. Yes, always good to have you. ATV Thunder. Let's see what else we got. We got Nancy Marcho. Hello, welcome. We got Pack. As always, that's great. We got Graham. Once again, welcome, welcome. Let's see, Nancy. Norfolk Southern Pokey District. Hello, PMAX. Hello, News Now Enemy. Yes, good to see you. So many wonderful people in here. I love my morning crew. You guys are the best. Let's see, PMAX, News Now, Cliff Hickson, Jennifer. Yes, good to see you. Always. Let's see, Nancy, Damian Paxson. Hello. I think Terry Barnes, Jennifer Peck, Damian Norfolk. Jennifer, I think. Oh, the Forgiven Jerry. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you again as well. So just scrolling through, seeing who I missed. Got to always say hello to everyone. Salacious, hello, welcome again. Um, let's see. Effing lawyer, hello, welcome. Good to see you in here. Love it. Just another nut. Hello. Um, let's see. I think that covers everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you all here once again, bright and early in the morning. Good way to start the day. Somebody, I didn't. Lisa, good morning. Good to have you. Great to see you again. Someone said, "Hey, you'd like to make people wait." I like doing the 10-minute intro because that gives people time, because it is early to, wake up, get situated, and then, log on and catch the stream. So, yeah, hey, good morning. A lot of stuff to talk about today. It was pretty cool that, I don't know if you guys saw Team Skeptic actually went live from Amsterdam last night. That was pretty cool. he got a little tipsy there at the end, but it was a good stream. It was fun. Um, I love all the updates about his European trip, vacation, and everything he's got going out there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, and then other than that, the only other thing, and this came up in the chat, I guess some of you guys saw it last night. I was watching Ham Banana's channel. If you don't know who Ham Banana is, you should check him out. He's cool. He does the Frauditor thing and all that too. He's a cool dude. Check out his channel for sure. Anyway, he had a live stream and I was watching it, and he had Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind on panel, and originally they were talking about Vegas Valley Transparency, Joey or whatever. But Sovereign Soul, I've been on panel with him before too on his channel, and I can actually. Oh, he was in Prague, okay, but he was showing pictures from that he took in Amsterdam. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, Peck. Thank you for correcting me on that. I haven't had time to watch any of his videos, right? But so anyway, he's a good guy. He does some good stuff. So, like I said, I've spoken with Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind before. We get along pretty well. Even when we disagree, we're able to actually have the conversation. So I always appreciated that about him. But there was some stuff he was saying that I'd heard him say before, and I wanted to address and never got the chance to. So I thought, well, Ham Banana had an open panel. Anyone could jump on. So I jumped in there and I started talking to him, and it was going well. It was great. And then, so anyone who didn't see it, what ended up happening was after a while, Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind dropped out, and then Nick Volt came in. And, over the years, I've seen Nick Volt on a bunch of panels. I've heard him talk a lot. I've watched his videos. And when I introduced myself to him, I was saying, hey, I've been on panels with you before, and immediately Nick jumps on the, no, you've been on one panel with me. How could you say panels? What are you trying to lie to people and make it sound like you know me or whatever? Is he Dr. Nick? No, that's not the same guy. But anyway, it was like, I didn't even get a chance to tell my story because he was immediately jumping on the fact that I said panel plural. Like that was the big federal case, end of the world. But in the end, everything was good. And, it was fine. It was just, it was weird at first because I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that like me and you are close personal friends or whatever, just that I'm familiar with your work was all I was trying to say. Anyway, I don't know about that, but it was all right. It was a good discussion. Forgive Jerry. That's not impossible, but I got a couple of things that I wanted to go over, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a while. Hey, Script Cat, what's up? Jury duty. Ooh, I hope you get chosen for a good case, at least something that's interesting. If you get a good sovereign citizen case or a Kim Blandino type, something like that you could actually enjoy watching the show, as opposed to just sitting in court being bored for 3 days and then guilty, whatever. Anyway, so that was interesting, an interesting discussion. And then couple topics I wanted to cover before I start getting into showing videos is I was watching a bunch of stuff, and one of these things that always comes up that I kind of wanted to elaborate on a little bit more when dealing with these people's the Forgive It, Jerry. I appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, so this whole idea of when somebody's doing an audit, right, and they're standing there and they're filming and this and that, and someone goes up to them and says, hey, what are you filming? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that so many of them love to say, it's part of the script now, I guess, is why don't you mind your own business? I'm just standing here filming, minding my own business. Wait a minute. Somebody please explain to me. If anyone in the chat could make me understand this, please do. If you're standing outside filming my business, how is that you minding your own business? Like, how does that make sense? Because it's, again, with this whole excuse that they always use, oh, well, I was just taking pictures. I was just filming something. Hey, Kalmaga, what's up? But that's never the case, is it? No, it's always they park their camera, they're filming, they'll stand there for 45 minutes to an hour or longer, just filming all this nonsense or just doing nothing except for filming, right? Whatever the people are doing, especially when they're filming a private business, right? And then you say, what are you doing? They say, I'm minding my own business. Then why are you filming my business? And then when you say, well, wait a minute, you're filming me, so it is my business while you're filming, you know? But they always try to flip it and turn it around. And then if they're dealing with public servants, if they're dealing with cops, even if they're dealing with people who work at a private business, when they contact them, they'll always say, if this is how you treat the public, then you're a scumbag and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait a minute. No, that's not how they treat the public. That's how they treat you. That's how they treat idiots. That's how they treat your dumbass standing there with the camera like an idiot. And I love the fact that every time anyone films them, oh, they're just a cambacker. Oh, they're just a Karen. Oh, blah, 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 whatever. So, one of my I'm sorry, I was just reading the chat. So what I wanted to start with today, because the other day I covered the Regan Benson arrest. For those of you, if anyone who doesn't know, what happened, she's the girl that is kind of bipolar. Like, she'll be talking to a cop and she'll be like, hi, officer, how you doing? Having a nice day? Yeah, me too. Oh, by the way, you're a piece of crap. You're going to get fired. I'm going to make damn sure of it. And I can say whatever. And it's like, whoa, lady, calm down. She just snaps on a dime and turns into an evil witch. And then she'll be sweet and nice as pie the next second. She's a nut. So anyway, so she got arrested, and I covered that video yesterday. What happened was she was in I guess it was a Kroger, I don't know, but she was in a building. She got trespassed. When they called the cops for her trespassing, she started yelling at the cop about how he treats homeless people and going on and on and on and on about it. And she wouldn't leave, and they're telling her you're trespassing, blah, blah, blah. And so finally she ended up getting arrested. And then she got bailed out by Denver Metro Audits and went live on his stream talking about what happened. And I just wanted to play a little bit of that because some of the things she says are so absolutely, I don't even know how to describe it. It's you'll see. I'll put it out right now. It's just crazy the way she, well, I mean, we know it's her. And before I get started, again, for a little bit of background, if anyone doesn't know, and she talks about it a little bit. I think Reagan and Sweet Tea are the two girls that are always with, but I don't think she's the same person. Anyway, she talks about how, and you'll hear she goes into it a little bit. Like, there's this homeless couple that got trespassed from a place, and the cop that trespassed them, because he trespassed them, is considered this horrible, evil, rotten, no good tyrant. But one of the things that I pointed out yesterday while watching her arrest is she says, look at all those homeless people over there, and how come you only go after these two? But what she's not saying is exactly that. Why those two? What did those two do that the cops are going after them, but not everyone else. Like there has to be a missing piece of the puzzle somewhere that caused them to draw the attention of the police. And the clip I'm going to show is from Blackheart Night covered her her discussion with DMA. So you'll see he'll jump in once in a while. Did I see Chile is backing someone saying that Ross Ulrich was wrongfully convicted for his part in the dark website, the Silk Road? Whatever. Everything that Chile does is just insane. So I don't even pay him much mind anymore. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick look at this Blackheart Night video covering her post-arrest bailout. And here you go. I'm sitting here describing it. And it's like, hey, I'll just let you watch it instead of just telling you what happens. So here we go.
I want to just give a quick background. It's not that complicated. It's just another dirty cop story. I mean, we're used to them. And let me tell you what went down today. I would do it again and again and again. I am in the process of busting this dirty ass cop. Okay. And like I said, so many things go on behind the scenes with my work and things that people don't know that I'm doing. And I have a homeless couple. They're living in their vehicle with their animals. And they called me up and said, hey, we're struggling anyway. We're trying our hardest to get out of this situation. I lost my job during COVID. I'm actively seeking employment. My husband's disabled. We're living on very limited income. And we got this cop harassing us out here, and we're scared and worried, but yet we want to stand up for ourselves.
We all know you. We all know that you lie a lot. So we really don't trust anything that comes out of your mouth. But please continue.
They filed this complaint mid-August. Now we're into October. Last week, I contacted IA. And I didn't get a return phone call from IA, but I got a return phone call from C. Sloan's lieutenant, who told me he was going to be working on this and checking into some things and blah, blah, blah. I said, first and foremost, you need to fix this BS trespass that Jeremy and Crystal supposedly have.
I'm sorry. I got to address something real quick. First of all, hello to Unclean Hands. Second, Frank Drebin with a picture of Frank Drebin. That is fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. I am back. Good to see you back. He was on the stream I was on last night with Ham Banana, so he saw the whole thing. In fact, he was up on panel as well. Anyway, just wanted to acknowledge that. And Frank Drebin, I think that's brilliant. So anyway, let's get back to it. Scott Ammo, what's up?
C. Sloan works off duty over there at the King Supers, and there's a lot of goofy stuff going on with how Lieutenant DePass, his boss, is trying to explain the situation. He said he watched some body cam footage, and DePass told Crystal, the woman, that she couldn't come there anymore and because they had complaints. He never said what the complaints were. Nobody from the store actually.
They're not going to tell you what the complaints were. It's none of your business.
The DMA realizes he's losing a lot of viewers, so he's got to get him back on the screen and interject himself into the situation so the viewer count doesn't go any lower.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to do stuff over here. Yeah, it's crazy how the whole thing went down, guys. And what was the manager? Do you remember, as you said on your live stream, the manager's name in there?
So that security guard said her name was Angelique.
Angelique.
Yeah, I thought her name tag said Angie. And I'll tell you what, King Supers / Kroger, never a fucking dime in your store again. Do you know how much money I spend at King Supers? Mm-hmm. I'm done.
Yeah.
I am done.
It's the main grocery store out here. I mean, that's where I go, and for them to do that, and I guess they don't want her there, and we don't know, but we think that Angelique initiated the police to come there in the first place, because as soon as you guys came out, Sloan was there in an instant trying to serve him with a trespassing warning. And so it's crazy that you go in there, spend $170, and then they have you trespass out of there after you weren't even there anymore.
I'm not even trespassed. I don't even know what the hell's going on besides C. Sloan getting his balls shoved up into his throat. He's pissed because he got caught.
And that's the thing. That's how trespassing works. You never were actually trespassed. You have to actually be trespassed, because they told you to leave, but they have to actually, don't they have to get your full name and everything else and officially trespass you? They can't just say leave, right?
You know what?
Okay, so now she's going to get into this whole thing, but I just want to address that real quick. That is such a major piece of their argument, and it's so not correct. The whole, I mean, what is he saying? Well, to trespass you, don't they have to get your name and all that? Oh, so now you're admitting that when they trespass you and ask you for ID and you say no, that you're doing it on purpose because in your opinion, they cannot trespass you unless they have your name and ID. But then when they ask you for that, you refuse to give it to them, which means if you know better, then you're doing it on purpose and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out because he just slipped that in there like it was a fact. Like, you can't be trespassed unless they give you paperwork saying you're trespassed. Like, once again, when someone asks you to leave and you don't leave, you are at that moment guilty of trespass. Done. That's it. Period. Anyway, let's go. Where's my thing? Dagnabbit, stupid StreamYard.
The fact that the store never asked me to leave, and the fact that the cop clearly went in and solicited that trespass.
No.
I initially said to that security guard, I said, you know what? I'm probably going to comply with that since you named a store manager.
See, and now, again, this is why I wanted to play this, because she says so many things. All right, so the cop went in and solicited a trespass. They love to say that. Would you rather the police could just grab you and lock you up? Just show up, grab you, and lock you up? Like, they have to know if from the people in the building that you are being trespassed, if they're asking you to leave. So the cop has to ask. That doesn't mean that they're breaking the law by soliciting a trespass. No, it means that they want to know what's going on. Hey, what's up? Yeah, this lady was in my store causing trouble and she's got to go. So you want her trespassed? Yeah, okay. Like, of course they're going to ask.
Manager. But then as C. Sloan started to get dumber and dumber and wanted to continue to escalate after I told him
he escalated
to go back
it.
inside.
Yeah.
He said he was being harassed.
See, again, wait a minute. No, I can't let that slide either. So I'm going to rewind that again. Listen what she says. The cop was wrong, terrible, and evil because he didn't leave when she told him to go. Look.
And everything else and officially trespass you. They can't just say leave, right?
You know what? The fact that the store never asked me to leave, and the fact that the cop clearly went in and solicited that trespass, I initially said to that security guard, I said, you know what? I'm probably going to comply with that since you named a store manager. But then as C. Sloan started to get dumber and dumber and wanted to continue to escalate after I told him to go back inside. He said he was being harassed, and go the fuck back inside. We've got some static video that we're probably going to show where he tells me in the beginning, before I started live streaming, if you follow me in that store, I'm going to have you arrested. Okay, I didn't follow him in the fucking store. Excuse me. So I got to quit cussing.
Here we go again. So, first of all, she was arrested. This is after DMA bailed her out and then interviewed her on his live stream. So she just said, "What's up, Sam? I am." And Yoda, "What's up?" She said a minute ago that the cop's horrible and evil and terrible because he didn't listen to her when she told the cop to leave. Like, that's her job to tell him what to do, right? She's the one who escalated the situation, pointing and screaming at the cop and giving him a hard time, right? And then she says this. Let's see that again real quick.
No, I'm in the fucking store. That tells me in the beginning, before I started live streaming, if you follow me in that store, I'm going to have you arrested.
All right. If you follow me in the store, I'm going to have you arrested. And now she immediately follows it up with, I didn't follow him in. You just said that he was letting you know that you can't go back in because you're trespassed. That's why he said, if you follow me in the store when I go in, I'll have you arrested. So now she's immediately going to turn it into, I didn't follow him in the store. Even you yourself didn't claim that he said that you did. He said, please don't. He told you not to. He didn't say you did it. But always twisting the false narrative and building crapola sauce.
Okay, I didn't follow him in the fucking store. Excuse me. So I gotta quit cussing.
No, it's okay.
But I'm not gonna stop. I am not gonna stop cussing out these cops.
No,
I'm not.
No, it was actually funny. I don't know who it was in the chat said, I like how Regan tones down her cussing, or at least tries to, for DMA.
Okay, I'll do that.
Because no, it's fine. You can cuss. It's just that
I don't care.
Like people know when I'm out there, so a lot of times I'll say like F this or whatever, because I'm just not a big cusser like Regan. So, but it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
so,
I wasn't until these cops started doing this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, all I have is my words. And when you're out there, I've said this before, when you're out there in the heat of the moment like this, and there's nothing you can do to defend yourself but use your words, you're going to use your words in situations when it's this blatant what this cop is doing to this homeless couple.
So did we want to watch the whole static video, or what's the
anyway?
That's
pretty much it. They don't, because again, that was Blackheart Knight's coverage of it, and he doesn't show the entire live stream. That's pretty much where he ends it. But yeah, that was crazy hearing what she was saying. And then the Forgiven Jerry's like doing this kind of stuff, their job. And again, that goes back to what I said before I even started playing this, right? In the original video, when she was arrested, she pointed to like this area, I guess, nearby where a lot of homeless people are there and they stay there. And she's like, look at all these homeless people. You're not messing with them. How come you're messing with these guys? And this is the thing, because she said earlier about, well, the cops didn't tell me what the complaint was. Why didn't they tell me? What are they trying to hide? Blah, blah, blah. That's not public information, right? I mean, I guess technically you could FOIA the police reports or the 911 calls or whatever it was. So in that sense, it's public information. But the point is, somebody somebody calls the cops to say something bad about me. And then someone says, oh, well, why'd the cops get called on them? Maybe it's none of your business. Maybe they don't want to tell you because who are you? Some random lady coming up to me, screaming at me, why? Who called and complained on these guys? Why did they call and complain on these guys? What happened? Maybe it was an anonymous call. They're not going to tell you. It's none of your damn business. You have nothing to do with them other than you don't like the fact that the cop is, because, again, she doesn't like anything any cop does. And this is just another thing. Boom. It's not public during the investigation, maybe. Well, this is just it, though. Like, yeah, there's a million reasons why they might not say something. But most importantly to me is it's none of your damn business anyway, And especially like Unclean just said about the investigation, when you're innocent until proven guilty in this country, right? So Oh, thank you, Lars. I love all you guys so much. My morning crew is the best. Anyway, so yeah, that's all a bunch of random nonsense and just going on and on and on and on and on with the BS. It's so annoying. um, also, I was looking at the chat and I saw some people talking about Mr. PayPal Patrick over by there. And I wanted to see what they were talking about, what's going on. And look at this, guys. Here, hold on. This is actually kind of cool. News Now Patrick. How many videos does he have on his channel right now? Look at this. 1. He's got 1 video. All the rest of his stuff, well, he's got even his community page, just 1. Like, everything on his channel is gone. So it's true. What everyone was saying about PayPal Patty, he just has the 1 video he did a day ago, and that's it. His entire channel is completely gone except for that 1 video. That's amazing. So, and he's demonetized on Facebook too, huh? Familia TV. Yeah, I love him. He's great. Oh, that's a pity. Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. Got the boys out the door to school. All right. Well, good for you, Lisa. That's great. Family always comes first. Anyway, there's another thing I wanted to cover, and this is what I'm about to show. Actually, I think it was during it's a hearing, and I think it was during the hearing. Artie actually had it on his stream. I think he covered it live, but he just showed it and then, talked a little bit about it and then went on to something else, and that's fine. But I watched it and I wanted to share it here as well because a couple reasons. First of all, this is hold on a second. I'm sorry. I think it's funny that frauditors are suing each other. Yeah. All right. So, for those of you who don't know what this is about, before I begin, because I was living in Wisconsin at the time, so it was all over the news. I heard all about it. It was a big deal. So, this dude, his name was Daryl Brooks, goes to a Christmas parade, right? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Everyone's out there having fun, enjoying the Christmas season, watching the parade. And it's going to be this wonderful, beautiful thing. And then this idiot drives his car into the crowd, mows a bunch of people down, killed 6 people. They say there are dozens that were injured. They don't have an exact count, I guess. But so now he's in prison and he's got a trial coming up. And a few weeks ago or whatever, they had his arraignment. And I was aware of it because when that happened, I remember hearing about it and I wanted to see what was going on with this guy. What's up, Donna Ray? I didn't say hello to you. LJ sings hello. So he has his arraignment. He's talking a bunch of sovereign citizen gibberish. So I'm like, oh, not only is this guy an idiot, but he's a sovereign idiot. Oh, great. Well, yesterday was his pretrial hearing. And I'm going to show it. And I said, it's probably going to be the bulk of my show today, but I want to show the whole thing because this dude falls back on the sovereign citizen script so much. It's like everything that comes out of his mouth is insane. Like, so one, I want to watch it because, I've only, I started out doing this by doing sovereign citizens, but lately I've been doing only frauditors. So I covered some sovereign stuff the other day, but again, this is sovereign citizen gold. Two, the guy's an obvious piece of garbage. I mean, driving over a bunch of people in his car. Duh. Like, how horrible is that? So, a little bit of background into what ends up happening with this hearing before I start showing it is that he, right now, so yesterday morning, apparently, he tells the cops that he can't taste anything and he thinks there's something wrong, which obviously that's a sign of COVID, right? One of the symptoms. So he doesn't stand under. That comes up in this too. So he says that, or he tells in prison, he tells the prison guards that he's not feeling good, he can't taste anything, blah, blah, blah. So they decide to give him a COVID test, and then they put him on COVID protocols. And he's got this hearing coming up, and he immediately files for postponement because since he's on COVID protocol, they call it, which basically means he's, basically quarantined to his own cell. And you'll hear during the arguments, he has access to all of his legal documents because he's pro se, of course, right? He has access to all of the documents and everything he needs to put it together. And yeah, you'll see he says, I object to like every word anyone says, I object. At one point during this, the judge points out to him that I gave you a book to look all this stuff up and do since you want to go pro se so you can figure out what's going on your own. And the book's literally sitting right next to him. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no book. You never gave me anything. And I mean, you could see it in the shot that the book is sitting right next to him on his desk. So this guy's nuts. And obviously he did it. There's plenty of footage of it. And it's not like, they went to his house 5 days later and tracked him down. Like they grabbed him right then and there. So they know it was him. Anyway, so he's going to get into all that. So again, I'm going to show the bulk of it. And in the end, he ends up getting kicked out of the courtroom, which is beautiful. So I want to show it because of that. All of the sovereign citizen nonsense he spouts. Watching how he handles himself in court is ridiculous. How he talks to the judge is ridiculous. So I want to watch it for that. And also because the judge is actually gorgeous. She's one of the prettiest judges I've ever seen. So I don't mind looking at her for a while. No, but seriously, it's crazy. I don't necessarily remember specifically what he's charged with, but definitely, again, whether it's manslaughter or murder or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I guess they said 6 people died. And again, they said dozens were injured. So did I fall into a Law Talk with Mike stream? No, I know he plays a lot of court proceedings, but again, I want to cover this just because this is a perfect example of one, not only is he, talking all the sovereign citizen garbage in court, but it's also a good example of how all of these people love, Salacious, that's cool. He's going to do 1,000 years in prison. Yeah, I believe it. Where's the outlaw Josie Wales when you need him? I like that. But like I was saying, it's also, to me, a shining example of how so many of these people always claim to be like, oh, I just believe in freedom and rights. And like going back to what I was saying about yesterday when I was on Hampanana's panel and talking to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, his whole thing was, well, if we got rid of all the cops and all the laws, the world would be perfect because everyone would just act right. And it's like, you think this guy would just act right just because? The kind of person who likes to mow down random people with his car? Whatever. Yes. All right. So here, let me go ahead and pop that on real quick, and I'll don't forget your friend Nick. Yeah, Nick Volt came on, and me and him got a little bit of an argument, but it's cool. You know, it was all good in the end. So let's get this hearing up here. It's a pretrial hearing. Again, he's on COVID restrictions, and the whole thing. I don't even know if I made that clear. The whole thing is because he was trying to postpone the trial due to the fact that he's on COVID restrictions, and he's basically arguing with the judge of whether or not that should do a thing. Proves the futility of their stupidity. Yes, it does. And it also illustrates just how stupid they are. Hello, Leland Squirrels. Candy Archibald, hello. About channels getting demonetized with K-Farm, Brandon, and Script. Yeah, we could do that. Let's see. Because again, this hearing is pretty long. So if there's a couple other little things I can cover in between, that's fine with me. Let me just pull that up for you. Boom, 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 boom. Also, I got to check my email, so I'll do that while this is playing. And then, again, we'll get to the hearing in a moment. Did I say trial? I meant hearing. I don't want to end up like Chile de Castro, not knowing the difference. He's a constitutional scholar, but he doesn't know the difference between this, that, and the other thing. All right. So, this one's 6 minutes. I'll go ahead and... Whoa, wait a minute. What's that? Whoa. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. The video link you gave me, that's Simon. Channels with K-Farm, Brandon, and Script Cat. Huh. Oh, I see. It's okay. Sorry, I saw him and I'm like, whoa, since when does he have anything to do with frauditors? But okay. So let me get this up real quick. We'll take a look at this. This is a request from the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check it out.
As a YouTuber, it's probably not going to happen for you. It's extremely unlikely. I'm sorry. But you've got to if you really want to try, you've got to give yourself a good shot. And you can't just make shit that you think is nice, because no one will like it. I mean, it's much less likely. That's really taking your chances, which were small anyway, and making them infinitesimally small. And I feel it sounds like such a privileged thing. It's like such a, I should love what I do and get paid for it. How many people are really in that position of loving what they do all the time and getting paid for it? It is very small. It is very, very small. I think I'm very lucky in a position where 90% of the things that I do, I really like doing, and I get paid well for it. But to be just making stuff you love and expect that to make you a living, is that some privileged shit right there? Otherwise, the video is really good. It was really long. It was just that one small part of it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So, where the fuck were we? Because I'm so lost.
If you haven't noticed, or you haven't seen, I'm not really posting on YouTube. Tonight's purpose is to annoy the fuck out of you guys.
Great job. Great job. Great job.
Oh, camera went live right as I was taking a sip of coffee.
Coffee.
Well, that's exciting. Let me verify something real quick before I say it.
Now comes the worst news of all. You might want to sit down for this. Patrick Roth, aka News Now Patrick, aka PayPal Patty, has been demonetized on both YouTube and Facebook.
I still want motherfucking coffee, don't I? Don't I?
Take a breath. It's okay. Just breathe. That's it. Just breathe.
Is this a giant troll that you're doing? And I'm like, no, it's really not. Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, and you're watching Today I Found Out.
And I just checked, and News Now Patrick's channel has no content.
And it feels very sad to say this, but this doesn't shock me in any way at all, which really says something.
Well, that's a perfect lead in for gamers content or comment here.
Yeah,
the news just keeps getting better for us. And to all of these guys, Pat Dallinger nailed it. Couldn't have happened to nicer and more deserving people. What's going on, Michael?
Wow.
Damn. Today was a good day.
Yeah, it was. Well, as soon as you said that SGV News got demonetized, like my soul is singing.
Yes.
And what it wants to sing is K-Far Shorts, like and subscribe.
Hey, everybody. James Taylor. Today's story brought to you by Central Hotel and Suites.
The biggest problem with this advert is that it, well, straight up lied.
How dare you?
But you didn't forget what I say after that, where I'm like, that actually took a piece of my soul.
Yeah.
Now give
like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you very much, Damien. I appreciate
I always
it.
forget to say that. It just popped into my head.
Well, I feel like that's an accomplishment. Actually, what I feel like is, let me go full screen so I can do this. To ye who shall not be named, you know who you are, and more importantly, we know who you are. I have one thing to say. K-Far, you won't want to miss this. I have one thing for you.
From here on out, I'm Mr. Low Profile, just another douchebag with a job and 3 pairs of Dockers.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
This is weird, though, isn't it? Oh.
You think I'm a sex offender?
Are you?
No.
Always lying to me. Oh my God, you lying so much.
You're accusing me of being a sex offender?
Is it true that you abused your wife or something like that?
What are you talking about, man?
He's talking about the time you abused your wife, Patty. You don't remember? Well, let me refresh your memory.
Get away
Stop.
from me.
Get
away from me. Girl, bitch. Don't fucking put your hands on me. Get away. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Now, Patty, you do realize how video works, right?
This is outrageous. They put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing.
So tonight's purpose is to annoy the fuck out of you guys.
Whatevers that basically ruin a lot of. That's just capitalism while being a dick. We've talked about it before.
So they're actors. So these aren't journalists. What you have to understand is these aren't journalists. These are actors. They know what the story is that they're selling because they're selling a story, and then they go out and they try to act it.
Wow, that was good. Lots of editing in that one. Real good stuff. Wow. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And then that other thing, I saw this when I was talking about Regan Benson and her arrest. I got this from a fan. Wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's hilarious. So, because this is a picture of her, the way she actually looks in real life, not just on YouTube. Here we go. You see that? There she is in all of her glory. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that's fun. Also, in a couple hours, I guess Frauditor Troll's dropping a new Glenn Serio video. So that's, there you go. Somebody already mentioned it. PMax, yes. Also, want to once again acknowledge from Damien, I got a super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Got my coffee right here, but I can always get another one. I'm going to go to Dunkin' Donuts later, and I'm going to do it in honor of you. So that's awesome. But you should see her with no makeup. I don't know, man. We're trying to, it's Halloween time. Maybe it's appropriate. Show her picture. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and show this hearing. There's a lot to it, but there's so much gold in there. I'll tell you the truth. For full transparency, I was going to try and kind of re-edit it to take out some of the more boring bits to make it a little bit cleaner and easier to show here in the morning. But the Law and Crime Network, when I tried to download it, they got some kind of block on it or something. I just could not get my own copy of it. So I'm just going to play it here. And, hopefully you guys won't die laughing listening to this idiot. And that's the other thing, too. It's like the things he says are so stupid, I want to laugh at him. But then I remember why he's there and what he did. And it's like, this dude needs to be buried under the prison and left there for 50,000 years because of what he did. It's just insane. Commentator Auditor, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. For a pumpkin spice latte from Dunkin', that is my favorite. I love that. In fact, this is just my coffee, but it's pumpkin flavored coffee. So I'm going to take a sip in your honor. Ah, yes. I always want to say it tastes better when we sip together, but then, that's not my line. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we are now going to start this hearing because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Here we go. Daryl Brooks versus Wisconsin Waukesha Parade defendant. Pretrial hearing.
State versus Brooks, case number 21, CF 18.
How's the volume? Oh, I went back too much. Sorry. Because they had the sound shut off before. Here we go.
And it's my understanding, Mr. Brooks, that you were offered to appear in the suit, but chose to come to court in jail attire, which is fine. We're not in the presence of the jury. I just wanted to make
Look at the way he's standing there even. His knee on the chair, bent over like an idiot.
Or identified by the name that you stated earlier. I want the record to reflect that, if I may.
The record will reflect. Thank you.
He's already starting with the name thing. All
right,
caps.
I know there was some filings, and I want to make sure the parties have copies of everything. Mr. Brooks, I know there was an inmate communication form filed, I believe earlier this morning, requesting 6 subpoenas as soon as possible. I instructed my staff to make sure ample copies
Look at this guy.
of the subpoena forms were provided to you. I did receive verification that those were hand delivered. Did you receive those, sir?
No, I did not.
We'll provide additional copies. Again, it's my understanding those were hand delivered to the jail, and that the jail took care of that in the event that that latter part did not take place. Mr. Brooks, I believe you were requesting 6 subpoena forms. I'm going to have my clerk print out 10 so that you have ample copies. And when that is done and those are handed to you, I'll make a record of that.
Wow.
Will we address the inmate communication form I sent about?
I have a number of issues I need to address, so yes, we'll get to that.
No, you won't. You won't get to anything because you're talking to a sovereign citizen.
That's an important issue that should be taken up before we continue any further in the proceedings.
I just want to make sure the state has a copy of what was forwarded first before we take that up. I'm not seeing it in the record yet, so. I did a F5, so it'll refresh.
So the prosecution will receive a copy.
I believe one was printed now for them. It is in the record. And then I'm going to print off something as well.
This trial is going to be insane when it finally goes down.
Respectfully,
Respect.
would like to state for the record and would like the record to reflect that I believe that this is
That I'm
an
an
issue
idiot.
that should be addressed at this point before we go
Sir,
any
I'm
further.
preparing to do that. I didn't say I wouldn't do that. So give me a minute. I have some documentation that I'd like to provide to the parties as well. I want to confirm with Attorney Opper that you have now received a copy of that inmate communication form.
Yes, I have one in front of me, Judge. It's dated today's date, October 5, 2022.
Yes, dated today because I just learned of the protocol that I would be on as of today.
Oh, the COVID protocol thing.
2 copies, 1 for each party. All right, I'm going to provide a document to the parties. It's a 5-page document. It is a document that was forwarded to me at my request by Monica Paz, our clerk of court, after receiving the inmate communication form from Mr. Brooks requesting an adjournment. For the reasons stated in that document, I thought it important that we all have before us the current county protocol related to COVID-19. And so this will be provided to the parties.
Now, I'm inclined to accept that if I don't believe
Sir,
that
it will be placed on your table, but I will be referring to that today, so
is
it's
it
been
law?
given to you.
Is it verified law, Your Honor?
Attorney Opper, do you acknowledge that the COVID-19 illness reporting protocol was provided?
I respectfully object.
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor,
Object
I
to
would
what?
like an answer to that question, if I may. Because I have not consented to or agreed to accept any paperwork that.
Sir, it's been
It's not
provided
working.
to you. It's
So are you
something I'm going to
making-
consider. You don't want to
Are you
read
making-
it.
are
You want to
you making a
disregard it. That's
judicial-
your choice.
Are you making a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that question I just asked you, Your Honor?
She just did.
Mr.
All right. Sorry, I want to go back for a second real quick because I'm watching the chat. And Lisa asks, does he have COVID? See, this is what is going on with this whole hearing. He was supposed to have his pretrial hearing, and it was supposed to be a standard pretrial hearing. But that morning, he reported that he couldn't taste anything. So they gave him a COVID test. So now he's on, they call it in the prison because he's in jail. They call it the COVID protocols, which basically he's on quarantine in his own cell until the test results come back. So he put in a request to have the trial postponed until he finds out whether or not he has COVID. So we don't know if he has it or not yet. But you're going to see it's going to come up in a little bit. It seems very suspicious, very much like he's faking it just to try and, delay the court proceedings. And again, when you hear his arguments, almost everything that anyone says, he says, I object, I object, I object. The guy wants to represent himself, but he has no idea. I mean, she's telling him, we gave you this paperwork. He's like, I didn't consent to receive any paperwork. So you're going to represent yourself, but you're not going to accept any of the paperwork or discovery or anything that you need to do so. This guy's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know, maybe he's trying to go for an insanity defense or something by just acting like a nut, or he actually is a nut, which I believe it might be true after running over a bunch of people in his car just for fun at a Christmas parade. Yeah, I can't wait till the actual trial starts and I hear what his defense is for doing it. That's going to be very interesting to see.
Ms. Brooks, the COVID-19 protocol has been placed in front of you. It is your choice whether you want to review it or not. So my understanding, just from the information Mr. Brooks has provided, which is part of the public record, is he is requesting an adjournment of all proceedings due to learning that he's on a COVID-19 protocol. I don't have any other information than that, sir. But based upon, and again, I did I was provided with the COVID-19 illness reporting protocol. I wanted to make sure that I had the most recent information that at least the county of Waukesha is operating under.
Real quick, I just wanted to address something. Right here, where is it? Let's see. There's a comment in here that I wanted to point out. Okay. Leland, just remember, we're here. I'm kind of starting to lose faith in humanity, you guys. Hey, look at us. We know what's up, and we're not these people, right? So there's still good ones out there, believe me. Just a while, well, I mean, this was way back because now my youngest kid is 8 now. So this was at least probably 9 or 10 years ago when my other kids were younger. But just to give you an example of how there are still good humans out there, and I can prove it. I was in Walmart buying baby formula. And, baby formula is extremely expensive. And I had like 3 cans of it. And the lady in line in front of me looked and saw what I had. And just out of nowhere told the clerk at the register, put his stuff on my card too. And then she looked at me and said, pay it forward. So there are still good people in the world. Don't lose faith in humanity yet. Only the stupid ones. We got to weed them out. Do something with this gene pool.
I also verified with court staff that the location at which you are seated is not within 6 feet of any other individual in this courtroom. Is there any other information you think I should know as I consider your request for an adjournment today?
Yes, I find it hard to believe that you couldn't consult with jail staff to verify the protocol, to verify that I was seen by nurses that
I don't have that information, sir. And let me be clear, cannot be provided to me under HIPAA. The only information I have is what you put in the inmate communication form.
It could be verified because I was told when I was brought down here that everybody knew that I was on a COVID protocol. That's why everybody
Because you advised us.
That's why, no, because the jail advised them. That's why they had to wear masks to bring me down. That's why I'm essentially on a protocol that doesn't allow me out of my cell until my results come back. So I'm not allowed out of my cell at the moment because of the protocol that the nurse himself placed me on, that the jail confirmed. That is very easy information to obtain.
Sir, I have an attorney for the county here who will verify that none of that information has been provided to me due to HIPAA requirements. So I'm not arguing it with you, sir.
I just want you to know that I'm not arguing with you either, but I was right in the middle of finishing what I was saying.
So I need to stop you for a minute, Mr. Brooks,
I don't consent to that, Your Honor, because
you don't have to consent. But here we go. Let me
to being cut off right when I'm trying.
All right, I'm just going to talk over him for a minute. I do not have any other information regarding the COVID-19 protocol, meaning anything specific about you, Mr. Brooks, other than what was put in the inmate communication, which reads, due to just learning I'm on COVID-19 protocol, I respectfully ask for all proceedings to be adjourned at this time, which is why I asked you if there was any other information you wanted to provide me as I consider your request, because the jail has not provided me with any specific information regarding the reason you were placed on protocol, whether you were exposed, whether you are showing symptoms. They cannot provide me with that information absent you giving them permission by signing an applicable authorization to do that. Without that, I have to rely upon you to provide that information to me if you so choose.
That is incorrect, because just yesterday you were trying to obtain the witness list that was in my cell. You had no problem whatsoever having the JA come down here to have me verify that they can go in my cell and search for that. So I find it very hard to believe that you can't consult with jail staff for them to tell you what is going on in my situation, where they know that I.
All right. So that's one of, okay. So I wanted to address what he's saying right here. Talk about not understanding things. This is why you shouldn't represent yourself in court. This guy is so stupid. And welcome, Kfar. Good to see you. So she's explaining to him, right, that she knows he's on COVID protocol because his request to adjourn the proceedings that he put in the court says, I request that we adjourn the proceedings because I'm on COVID protocol. So she knows he's on COVID protocol because he told her through the paperwork he submitted to the court. Now, she's explaining to him that that's the only information she has. Because of HIPAA, they cannot tell her specifically what's going on with him. And he just says now, well, I find it hard to believe that you can request a witness list from me, but you can't get my medical information. She's the judge in a case in which you are representing yourself. Of course, she has access to your witness list. Duh! Like, how can you not understand that she can get your witness list because she's the judge? She's going to be the judge in your trial when it gets there. You're representing yourself, so she has to have your information. How could she call witnesses if she doesn't have the witness list? How could she subpoena them if she doesn't have the witness list? She has to have the witness list. But HIPAA does not allow them to tell her or anybody your specific personal private health information. He doesn't understand that basic of a simple concept of law, but he thinks he's going to represent himself in a murder trial? Mass murder? This guy's so amazingly stupid that his idiocy is, oh, it's almost delicious on how bad it is. But again, this isn't like most of these things where I would just point and laugh at this point because it's over a traffic ticket or something. This is a horrible, horrible thing that this guy did. And he's pulling the same nonsense script that they pull when they get pulled over. This guy's just ridiculous, and his arguments are nonsensical.
I've just been seen by a nurse that placed me on this protocol for having a loss of taste, fatigue, and I have to wait for the results of my test. And until then, I am on a protocol which restricts me to my cell. That is very easy information to obtain.
Okay, and just real quick, you just volunteered that information. You just said it. I got tested because I had a loss of taste. I saw a nurse this morning who administered a test. So you just gave her the information that you're objecting that she doesn't have. Well, now she has it because you just gave it to her yourself.
And I find it very hard that Your Honor cannot obtain that information, but can obtain a way to communicate with jail staff when there's a witness list involved. We're talking about someone's health that can affect not just you, but anybody else, not just officers, but also inmates. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. That has a lot of merit. And frankly, Your Honor, I'm afraid. I'm fully vaccinated and I've never had COVID. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm that was the last thing I was hoping I would be told today, Your Honor. So I'm afraid right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's the reason why I put in the sick call slip initially. I had been telling officers for days that I hadn't been feeling well, but I didn't know what it was. But I felt that I had to put in the sick call slip because I was not able to taste anything. That is the reason why I was seen by nurses. That is the reason why the COVID test was administered. And that's why I'm on the protocol as we speak.
Are you willing to discuss with me what tests were done? Again, I cannot obtain that information on my own.
I'm not a nurse, Your Honor. I don't know the name of the test. I don't, like I said, I've never had this happen.
Let me clarify that. That was a pretty ambiguous question. So, you reported symptoms as that's what you're telling me, right?
Correct.
And you're saying some tests were done?
I mean, that it's obvious. I mean, why can't it be verified with the nurse?
I have to verify it with you. The nurse will not provide me with this information.
But the jail can because they control the movement. They control all inmate movement. I can't just go from my cell to a HSU.
Inmate movement is not the issue at the moment.
It's not, but I'm saying, how can I tell you? How can I answer what you're asking me? It doesn't make sense. We all understand that.
No, what you're
jail
saying doesn't make
itself
sense.
Controls the movement of the inmates. That's common sense, Your Honor.
I'm not.
What's up, Sandy G61?
Here to talk about
I
inmate
can't
movement
just-
at the
I can't
moment.
just
What I'm
walk to
asking
the
you is,
HSU.
do you believe you were tested for COVID?
I obviously was tested for COVID. I would not be on the protocol if I was not.
So what's the problem? What are you
Do know
arguing?
what type of test? Was it an oral swab, a nasal
The answer is
swab?
I don't know.
It was a nasal swab.
All right. Do you know when the results of that test will be back?
From my understanding, Friday. That's what I was told by the doctors. I would have to be at least on this protocol until the results come back, which he said the earliest would be Friday.
Were you offered a rapid test?
They said they do not do the rapid test.
So you weren't offered a rapid test?
They said they don't do them.
If one can be obtained, are you willing to submit to a rapid test?
I'm not willing to submit to anything right now until we take care of the issues that's at hand. I mean, I've already been placed on the protocol. I'm very afraid right now because I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. Like I said, I'm fully vaccinated, Your Honor. I've been fully vaccinated since 2021. And so for this to just be sprung on me now to say this could possibly be a COVID thing, I've had people close to me that have passed away from COVID. I'm afraid as hell, Your Honor. That's the reason why I submitted the ICF for the adjournment.
All right, really quick. I want to mention this now. One thing I wanted to say while I was watching this yesterday, and one of the reasons I wanted to cover it today as well, is because he's so afraid that he might have COVID and this and that, whatever. For the most part, I think he's full of it. And we'll get to that when you see what the prosecutor says when she testifies. Or, well, they have someone come up and testify later. But when the prosecutor responds to what he's saying, Kfar, this is exactly what I'm getting at right now. Considering what this guy did and why he's there, I don't give a damn at all, not even a grain of sand's worth of sympathy for this idiot. If he has COVID, I guess he's earned it. If it actually turns out to be a super bad case, good. The guy's a mass murderer. He's a horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh my God. I have no sympathy for him at all. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. So yeah, he could just keep babbling on his nonsense, but I don't buy it. And if it's true, good. Good. I'm going to say that again. I think he's lying. I think he's just trying to delay the trial and making all this stuff up. And again, you're going to hear in a few minutes when the prosecutor talks that there's evidence that he could be lying. But if he's telling the truth and he's got COVID, good. Good for him. He deserves it after all the people he murdered.
I was thinking at least until I can get the results at bare minimum. I don't think I'm asking something that's
Sir,
impossible for
if
Your
I
Honor to
can
grant.
make arrangements to have a rapid test brought to you and administered, are you willing to submit to that test?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Why can't I get the results of the test I already took?
But you're telling me you're scared, you're
Yes,
fearful.
I am.
But you don't
very.
want to take a test that might
I
tell
took
you today.
I took the test that he gave me.
And
if
you're
he
telling
felt-
me that test result won't be available to you until at least Friday.
At least Friday. That's what I was
So
told.
tomorrow.
I was told that I would be
Sorry,
placed
day
on this
after.
protocol until the results came back. The earliest that the results would be back would be Friday.
So that sounds like, to me, I think that's what they call a PCR test.
I have no idea, Your Honor. I
Okay.
have no idea what it's called. Like
Let
I
me
said,
ask
I've
you-
never had COVID. I don't know the test names. I don't know what they call them.
I'm generally familiar with some of the testing for COVID. There are tests that can be what we call rapid tests, or what are called rapid tests, that are available. And then there's these other tests which take a few days. It's, again, I'm not a scientist, but I think the general belief would be sometimes the rapid tests are accurate, sometimes they're not. Sometimes people test negative when they're really positive. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But it's my understanding a positive test would be pretty accurate. And then there's other tests that take a few days for the results to come back. It really depends on the lab that's being utilized, etc.
Good morning, Frank.
I'm asking you once again, if a rapid test can be obtained, are you willing to take a rapid test?
How would that be obtained? How would it be obtained?
I would
was
work
told,
with-
I can only go by what was told to me, because when I was brought in there and they told me that they had to test me for COVID, I was immediately like, what do you mean you have to even test me for this? What is this about?
Well,
I had
didn't
a
you
lieutenant.
report symptoms to them?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I had a lieutenant and 2 officers present when I was asking all these questions. Why do I need, what's going on with this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? Because I didn't understand. Immediately in my head, I started to get afraid when they said they had to even test for COVID.
Well, were you reporting being sick and symptoms prior to them asking you to test?
Yes, I've told multiple officers. I didn't know what it was at first, because it started with fatigue, with me feeling very fatigued. And I said, man, I don't know if it's just me being tired, or that's what I initially thought it was. Maybe I'm just a little exhausted. But I said, no, anybody knows their body. I said, this got to be something more, because I'm really, 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 I don't even have an appetite. Then when I'm trying to eat, I can't taste anything. That's what said, okay, now I need to put the medical sick
When did you
card slip
report these symptoms to the medical people, or to even just a correctional officer?
in. A few days ago.
And I also wanted to point this out too. I love the way that he's trying so hard to play his circular logic word salad games to try and outsmart the judge. I guarantee you, this judge on her worst day is 5,000 times smarter than this idiot on his best day. Like, his arguments are so stupid. And he keeps saying it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because you don't understand. Well, that comes up later where he goes, I don't stand under thing, whatever. But he doesn't comprehend what's going on. That's why it doesn't make sense to him, because he's an idiot. It should make sense to a regular person. And again, and somebody mentioned earlier, there's no death penalty in Wisconsin, but that's why, and this is just a side note, because I don't know, again, this isn't the trial, this is just the pretrial hearing. But when we see exactly what the penalties are that he's facing, that's why you'll hear of people having like 10 consecutive life sentences. Like, well, how can you do more than one life sentence? Well, because if you get one removed on appeal, then you still have 9 left. And if you get 5 removed on appeal, then you still have 5 left. Like, it's basically life in prison without any chance of parole. By doing multiple life sentences, it guarantees you're never getting out. But anyway, that's a whole nother deal. The Kim Blandino thing, like, I see the comparisons between him and Kim, like trying to delay court proceedings and all that. But I mean, again, since this guy's being, I guess we have to say accused, right, of murder, it's what he did is way beyond anything Kim Blandino's ever done. Way, 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 way worse on the scale of crap. He's way down below turds with corn in it. So let's get back to more stupid.
Over the weekend is when I started to notice the fatigue. So I was telling officers, man, I don't feel good. I don't know if it's just I'm tired. Usually I don't just jump the gun and say something's wrong, because it may just be, it could be anything. So
when did you report the loss of taste?
I reported the loss of taste last night.
And was it after that they told you they wanted to test you?
No, they didn't tell me till this morning that they wanted to test me.
What other symptoms are you reporting at this time?
That was it so far, just the fatigue and the loss of taste, which is the reason why I was told that I had to take the test. Which I was told at that time also that the earliest my results would be back would be Friday.
And you said at this point you're not willing to take a rapid test.
Well, they said this is the test that they do. The nurse was very clear in what he was telling me when he told me how the test, because like I said, there was a lieutenant and 2 officers right there while the whole thing was going on.
I understand all of that. I have a very specific question to you, sir.
I was asking them questions, and he specifically told me that this jail, this is the test that they do. They do not do rapid tests. I didn't even ask about the test because I know nothing about the test. This is what I was told. And after he told me that, I said, okay, fine, just do the test and I'll just sit on the protocol, because at first when he told me, you know, you're going to have to be on a protocol where you're isolated.
All right. So real quick, I just want to throw for people like William, who just arrived. Welcome. Good to see you again, buddy. Just real quick, explaining what you're looking at. So this is the guy who you don't know in Wisconsin. Last year, there was a Christmas parade, and he took his car and just drove it into the crowd and mowed down a bunch of people, killed 9, injured dozens of others. Horrible, 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 terrible person, terrible thing. Turns out he's a sovereign citizen. So this is his pre-trial hearing, and he had a COVID test that morning. This was yesterday. So yesterday morning, And so now he's trying to put in a motion to have his trial delayed due to the fact that he's on COVID protocol while they're waiting the test results. So now he's arguing with the judge about the test, and she's trying to tell him, like, look, you're giving me information. That's great, but I can't just go and, whatever. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I mean, this is interesting because of all the sovereign citizen garbage he gets into. K-Far is asking me what I'm doing tonight at 7. That depends. I'm Eastern. What 7 in what zone? Usually, are you streaming tonight? Want to have me up there? Are we Central, Eastern, Pacific? What 7 p.m. for you is what? Eastern? Yeah, I'm 7 Eastern too. It's difficult to say. I don't have any specific plans yet, but I think I might be available around 7. Drop me an email and I'll get back to you, let you know when I find out what's going on tonight. Because I guess I can't guarantee anything, but if not, I'll definitely. Hez is the lawyer for Banana. That's a reference to last night's Ham Banana stream. Anyway, yeah, K-Far, hit me up an email and I'll let you know what's going on. Yeah, like I said, just drop me an email, and when I find out what I'm doing tonight, I'll let you know, and we'll see if we can set something up. So don't necessarily advertise me, but if I show up, I'll be more than happy to come up and hang out. But anyway, let's go back to this moronic stupidity, being an idiot.
I said, okay, fine, just do the test. I'd rather you do the test and make sure that I'm healthy than to just refuse the test and just say, I'll just wait for it to see if I get better or something like that. So I said, yeah, just go ahead. And that's what I was informed. Friday would be the earliest that I would get the results back. And I would be placed on a protocol, which is called isolation, where I'm not allowed out of my cell.
Anything else, sir, you think I need to know about this issue as I consider your request?
No, at this time, I'm just telling you what I know. Multiple officers were there that can tell you the same thing that I'm telling you now. Like I said, Lieutenant Chamberlain was there. 2 officers were there.
Any objection if I talk to any of them to confirm what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
Any objection if I need to ask the jail administrator about, or anyone else at the jail about, the protocols and what's available for testing?
Absolutely not.
Given any information about whether anyone else in the facility is experiencing COVID right now?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know who. I'm in the mental health medical pod as it is. I'm
So no information's been provided to you that there's like either a lockdown or
he's already in the
some type of a
mental
restriction
health
due to any
pod.
like
What a
concern over COVID?
surprise.
I would never have that information, because like I said, I'm limited in the pod that I'm in. I have no interaction with any other inmates, and my interaction with staff is pretty limited.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that additional information. I know, sir, what I've provided to you is generally the
Sorry, just real quick. It looks like we're getting more and more people coming in right now. Just real quick, what's going on? What he's trying to request, Stephanie, is this is the pre-trial hearing. The trial hasn't started yet, but he's trying to get everything delayed or postponed because he's been put on COVID protocol pending results to his COVID test that he just took yesterday morning. And this hearing was yesterday. And you're going to see in a minute, the prosecution's going to come on and say they think he's faking the whole thing, basically, and they have evidence to back that up, just to try and delay the trial. But also he's making sovereign citizen arguments. And if you don't know who he is the guy who there was a Christmas parade in Wisconsin, and he just drove his car into the crowd, killed a bunch of people, injured a bunch of people. The guy's a horrible piece of crap. And yeah, so that's where we're at. And let's get back to it.
For employees, I fully recognize that the jail may have different protocols just because of it being in a correctional facility, and inmates are, of course, or can be very close to one another. And so I don't want to presume
The judge is
that
going
this
to
is
address
exactly
that.
what they follow. And so I'd like for them to tell me what their protocols are as I consider this request. At the moment, I told you this earlier, you're not within 6 feet of anyone else in this courtroom. And I believe that provides ample protection for the other people in this courtroom. As I consider this request, you've provided information to the court. You've been able to tell me the symptoms that you are reporting, your understanding of the protocols. And despite you reporting fatigue, I know, I don't know if you're standing or sitting on the chair. I can't quite tell. It appears like you're standing, but maybe leaning over the table. Oh, knee on the chair. Okay. But you've been able to very clearly, coherently make your position known to the court at this time, and I appreciate that. Let me ask Attorney Opper if there's anything you would want to provide or state at this time regarding this request.
Yes, Your Honor, a couple of things. Number one, we believe this is nothing more than a further delay tactic by Mr. Brooks. I can advise the court as an officer of the court and as an offer of proof that he is.
How could
Mr.
that
Brooks,
how
did
could
you
that
hear
even?
Attorney Opper interrupt you when you were talking?
Well, I respectfully object to
You
that.
can object, your objection's noted, but you need to let her state what she needs to state. I will give you an opportunity to respond. I'd encourage you to use paper and a pen to write down. That's the rules of decorum in the courtroom, sir. We generally avoid interrupting one another so that, number one, the record can be clear, and perhaps most importantly, because that is a sign that we all understand that this is a place of dignity. It is a place of respect. It demonstrates that, frankly, a willingness on the participants to conduct themselves appropriately. It avoids creating disorder or disruption. So I will give you an opportunity to respond, but you need to give Attorney Opper an opportunity without interruption. Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, again, we believe this is a delay tactic in line with the defendant's behavior since about the August 25th or 26th motion hearing. I can advise the court as an officer of the court that Mr. Brooks has been saying for the last several weeks in his recorded jail calls to his mother and others that he's going to get this trial delayed or adjourned or pushed back. This behavior, again, on the 11th hour is 100% consistent with that. I believe that if the court wanted more information from the jail administrator, she
goodbye,
is present
Kiss.
and
Be
could
well.
provide that
Take care of yourself.
information. I believe Mr. Brooks has waived any HIPAA privacy rights he may have in that regard and indicated that to the court. And also, I believe she would be able to provide information if the court ordered her to do so. I believe that even if he is on COVID protocol, it will have zero impact on his ability to prepare for this case. As we've learned already, and I'm prepared to make a further record, he has all of his discovery materials within the confines of his jail cell. He has a tablet made available to him in the confines of his own jail cell, and he has the ability to use a conference room in his pod. I don't believe the COVID protocol would interfere with his ability to access that conference room whatsoever. But again, I could verify that with the jail administrator if the court thinks that's an appropriate fact. The fact that he claims to have started reporting symptoms as far back as the weekend, we're probably right up against the 5 days right now. If he started this on Saturday, which I don't believe there's any record of, we're at 5 days right now. And certainly the court's offer to.
I never once said.
Mr. Brooks,
I never
have
said.
an
I never.
opportunity
No,
momentarily.
no.
You
I
need to stay
respectfully
quiet.
object to that because that has no merit.
Mr. Brooks,
I-
it's not
she
your
said-
time
no,
to speak.
No, I respectfully object. I never reported saying what day. I never said a day. And if you saying she's saying she has jail phone calls, well, why aren't they present? Why can't they be verified by sworn affidavit and brought into this court to be shown that this is a delay tactic, as you say it is? How come it can't be shown by sworn affidavit? Can you provide proof of that?
All right, Mr. Brooks, I've given you a little
Just
bit of
like-
leeway
just like you're
because we
saying
are outside the
that I've
presence
waived
of the
something.
jury.
I haven't given consent to waive anything. I've simply told the judge that I had no issue with her verifying with the jail that this protocol is in effect and that I was in effect tested for COVID-19. How could that be a delay tactic? If that was a delay tactic, why would I even need to be tested and placed on the protocol? Why does everybody have to have on masks to bring me down here?
All right, Mr.
Is
Brooks,
there no-
I've
is there
given
no
Mr.
verification?
Brooks, I'm going to warn you now that you have interrupted a couple of times. You interrupted Attorney Opper
I have to
twice.
be able to speak up.
You're
Your
now
Honor.
interrupting me yet again. We all were polite and had you
That
provide
was not
information.
polite. That was
That's
abuse.
at
That
least
was-
the
that was
third
abuse.
interruption of this court.
That was abuse by the prosecution. That was abuse.
Mr. Brooks, let me finish.
No, because that's
So he's outright refusing to listen.
I would
He's
not sit
outright
here.
talking over me
I didn't
at the
refuse
moment.
anything. I didn't refuse
Mr.
anything.
Brooks, we are at
I'm
the
not-
point
I'm not gonna-
yet
I'm not
again
gonna- I'm not
where
gonna
I
sit-
will put you in the other courtroom because
And
you
I
are
don't
not
consent.
able.
I don't consent to being removed. I have not waived the right to be present, and I don't agree with that.
Mr. Brooks,
Does the
I
record
have
reflect?
provided
does
you
the-
on multiple occasions and it's should be in front of you.
No,
and
I
if
don't.
not,
I don't acknowledge that. I haven't agreed.
you have
to
been
it, and I
advised
haven't
on
given
multiple
consent of it.
occasions that you need to abide by the standards of courtesy and decorum for the courts of Wisconsin. Because you are a litigant, you're both a named defendant, you are now acting as your own attorney by
I'm not a named
representing
defendant.
yourself.
I don't recognize the name
That all of the rules
state
of courtesy and
put on
decorum
their
apply
complaint.
to
I don't
you.
recognize that name, Your Honor. That is
Supreme
not who I
Court
am.
Rule 62.02 details many of the requirements.
He
for
doesn't
the
recognize that
courtesy
name.
and
It must be written in
decorum.
all
I've referenced
caps.
A couple of them on multiple occasions, including that sub 1, sub F of 62.02, that proper conduct and attire is expected within the courthouse and where possible, individuals, including yourself, right, are to refrain from creating disorder and disruption. Sub H, you're supposed to conduct yourself in a manner which demonstrates sensitivity to the necessity of preserving decorum and integrity of the judicial process. You have been advised multiple times, sir, of the expectation that this court has that you conduct yourself in a civil manner. You've been advised multiple times that this court will not tolerate.
All right. I'm pausing it there real quick. I'm going to turn this off for a second. No, wait. Hold on. I just clicked the wrong thing and messed myself up. I am so sorry. All right. I wanted to take that off screen because I wanted to show you guys something. So right here, let's see. Yeah. So if you look right here, it's kind of difficult to see it with this on the screen, but you'll see right here by his lower, I guess from where we're sitting, his lower right, there's a book on his desk right here. And in just a second, he's going to deny that he has ever received it. And the judge is even going to point out it's right there on your desk. This guy is so full of, oh man. It's like I said before, like I kind of want to laugh at his stupid, but because the crimes are so serious, it's like I don't know if I should laugh or cry with this idiot and what he's doing. Like I said, I can't wait to actually cover this trial. It's going to be insane.
Right. Disruptions, interruptions, that when you do that, you run the risk of forfeiting your right to be present in the courtroom. As you know, I have available the courtroom next door that's connected to the holding area. It is connected by audio and visual means. It provides you an opportunity to meaningfully participate by also giving the court the opportunity to control the decorum, to control the disruptive behavior, because primarily your disruptive behavior is repeated interruptions of this court, talking over this court, now talking over the prosecutor. I appreciate that you have not interrupted me for quite some time. So at this point, though, I need to warn you that further interruptions may very well result in you being removed to the other courtroom where you would participate by audiovisual means. At this time, I would like to hear from the court administrator, especially as it relates to the protocol.
Jail administrator.
Did I say the court administrator?
Yes, that's all right.
That's okay. We're in court, and I would like to hear from the jail administrator. Thank you very much. Just to get some general information and perhaps even some specific information regarding the what Mr. Brooks has provided, since he indicated I could verify all of this information with either the lieutenant or others who are present. So I believe we have Angela Wallenhaupt here, if she would come up to the witness stand.
Your Honor, if I don't want to mix issues, but the inmate communication form from September 28th also still needs to be addressed by the court, and I think the jail administrator may have some information relevant to that issue as well.
All right, thank you. I
Please.
have a list of a bunch of things I want to go over, and I'm gonna.
So, Your Honor, just so I'm clear.
You're not clear
are
on
we
anything,
addressing
buddy.
The issue at hand now,
We are.
or are we addressing something from September?
Well, I will get to the September inmate communication form at some point during this hearing, but right now I'm addressing.
No, you're not
the
going to get
most
to anything
recent
else. He's not
inmate
going to allow it.
communication Form that is dated October 5, and that addresses your request for an adjournment. I'll have you sworn in. I'll just do it. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Would you please state your first and last names for the record?
Angela Wallenhaupt,
Would you spell your last name?
WOLLENHAUPT.
Thank you. If you could please advise us on the record again of your job title and responsibilities.
I'm the jail administrator for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. I am head of the division in charge of all staff and inmate issues.
All right. I'm sorry. I just real quick did want to point this out because I noticed this. Like, she's one of the good guys, and that's all fine and good. But that look on her face, like, I could see why she's in charge of the prison, because she looks like someone who doesn't take any crap from anybody. And I got that look before. If I got that look from my wife or my mom or my teachers or anyone, oh man, that's just horrendous. Well, what do they call that? Giving them the mom look, right? She's got a mug on her, man. That's for sure. Nurse Ratched. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But again, she's one of the good guys, but wow. Comparing her to Nurse Ratched, that's a perfect description of her face, man. It's especially after looking at that judge and now looking at this, it's like, we should put a witch hat on her just for fun. But I don't want to tear her down because she's one of the good guys.
Could you provide information?
Jane
to
from
the
Beverly
court
Hillbillies,
on
I love
the
it.
general COVID protocol within the jail?
Judge, I would prefer to not speak to the operational considerations with that. I can speak to the fact that there are different protocols that are put on people for different medical or management reasons, which may have modifications to them. I can speak to the protocol Mr. Brooks has placed on, that it won't affect the area he is living in, nor access to areas that are not other inmate occupied.
That seems fair. I don't want to certainly put all of your operations on display. That's not necessary. But if you could speak to the specifics as it relates to Mr. Brooks's current situation.
So he would remain in his current cell housing location. He would have access to a conference room if he needed it, access to a telephone. And we would be able to, it's a safety security measure for him as well as our staff. And we can safely produce him for court.
When I hear the phrase being on a protocol, that to me could have more than one reason. Someone could have been exposed, someone could have tested, or someone could have reported symptoms that required testing. Would I be mistaken in any of those beliefs?
You are correct, Judge.
Would there be any other reasons for someone to be placed on a protocol, a COVID-19 protocol within the Waukesha County Jail?
No.
And would you tell me which one of those three options has prompted the COVID protocol for Mr. Brooks?
Judge, I have not reviewed his medical record prior to arriving here.
All right, fair enough. Do you have an understanding of what that is?
Yes,
Based
however,
on information provided to you.
yes, however, he has not signed a release allowing me to speak to the court. So if you are ordering me to speak to the court, I can speak to what my understanding is.
All right, real quick. Let's see. Good morning from New Brunswick, Canada. What's for breakfast? Sovereign citizen stupidity.
Mr. Brooks, I took your statements earlier that you would not object to me asking jail staff about the current situation to verify the information you provided. Is that still correct?
I said that I wouldn't have any issue with pertaining to myself. I don't know. I'm not speaking about anybody else in the jail. I'm not speaking about what everybody's situation is different.
Right. And I'm specifically referring to your situation.
Well, the question was asked in, how does it pertain to me? It was pertaining to me, all the questions, which it came up when I said that there was a lieutenant and there were officers present when I took this test from the nurse.
Right. I'd like to verify the information that you're providing to me regarding what was reported by you, what tests were administered, and why you're on the protocol with the jail administrator. First of all, do you understand what I want to ask her about?
No, I do not understand.
Did you hear what I said just now?
I do not understand.
Here we go with the understand.
Did you hear what I said?
Frankly, Your Honor, I think she would probably be the wrong person to be asking because she wasn't present.
You must understand then what I'm saying if you think she's not the person who would provide that
No, I don't
information.
understand.
So
I didn't consent to understanding or agreeing to that. No, I do not understand.
all right. I took his statements earlier. I realize you don't have a written waiver.
I
as
did
to
not
the,
consent to
a verbal
understanding.
waiver of any privacy rights under HIPAA, and I am directing you to answer the question.
It was brought to my attention shortly before the lunch hour that he had made statements that prompted the medical department to follow up. As I said before, I have not reviewed the medical record. It is my understanding he was administered a test. He was also offered another test, to which he refused.
Do you have any information regarding whether this other test would have been a rapid test?
I believe it to be.
Do you have those tests available in the facility to offer to an individual?
I have one available right now.
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Of me or of the witness?
Of jail administration.
Go ahead, you can ask the question.
Ms. Wallenhoff, if there were different types of tests available, why wasn't I administered the correct test when I first was tested? Why would essentially I would be asked to take a test, take that test, then turn around again and be told to take a whole nother test? In my mind, that's almost like some type of ploy or something, some type of scheme.
Seriously?
Why?
Sir, what's the question?
I asked the question, why would I not be given the correct test?
It's not
from the
correct
get-go
or
instead
incorrect.
of
It's
having
the
to take
speed
two
in which they
tests?
get the results.
If I've already taken
Mr.
one
Brooks,
test,
you have to give her an opportunity to answer, and you
I've
gotta
already-
ask one question at a time.
I just asked the question.
Can she answer it then? Do you want her to answer it? I presume you do, since you asked the question, so you need to stop talking so that she can answer it, okay?
Limit your abuse, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I don't appreciate being talked to that way, Your Honor.
The people you ran over didn't appreciate getting killed.
Judge, I would prefer not to answer that question. He states the wrong test. I don't know what he's speaking of. I have not reviewed the medical record with what test was administered, so I would prefer not to answer that question.
All right, fair enough.
The wrong test would be if it wasn't a COVID test.
If it was, why would I need to take two tests for the same symptom?
Your Honor, I object to relevance and beyond the scope of this witness's knowledge, and it also assumes a fact, not an evidence.
All right, so I'll sustain the objection. I'll give both parties an opportunity to ask questions of this witness since it's Mr. Brooks's request. I know do you have any other questions for Jail Administrator Wallenhaupt on this issue at this time?
I don't think I was clear, or I didn't have clarity on the answer to that question. Essentially, what I'm asking is, why would I need to take two tests for the same thing?
You wouldn't need
if
to.
I'm taking a COVID test.
All right, listen. I'm going to answer his question for him. He's so stupid. Okay. The whole reason this argument right now is happening at all is because since it was going to take until Friday to get the results of the test he took, and he put in a request to have his trial delayed due to waiting on the results for the test, that's what they're addressing, is the speed, because that's what he's filing a motion to delay the case because of the speed at which the results are coming. So they're also offering him a rapid test because of his problem with the speed it's going to take to get the results. So now he's saying, well, if you gave me a test, why would I have to take another test? You're the one who's complaining about how fast it takes, so now they're offering you the quicker one. Like, what's so hard to understand about? Oh, I don't understand because I don't consent to understanding. Okay, Mr. Genius. What's your IQ? 4?
Test. Why would I need to take another one?
I'm going to object this to lack of foundation and beyond the scope of this witness's knowledge, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained. I'll direct the witness. She does not need to answer that question. Next question, if you have one, please.
I still don't have clarity on that, Your Honor. I'm baffled.
Do you have another question? A different question?
Would it be any way to verify why I would need to take 2 tests for the same symptoms.
I'm not sure I understand the question, sir. I think
I'm referring to the nurse who administered the test.
the nurse isn't here, though. This is Jail Administrator Wallenhaupt.
And that's why it's hard for me to wrap my head around why Mrs. Wallenhoff would be called to testify when she was not present. I think the wrong person is testifying.
Do you have any other
Because
questions
the
for
reason
her?
why I
I
say
understand
that-
what you're saying. Do you have any other questions for her, though?
Are you sure you wrapping your head around what I'm saying, Your Honor?
Do you have any other questions for this witness?
To your knowledge, you just said that you have a rapid test available right now. When did that become available? Because I was told otherwise.
I know there is a rapid test available right now. As I stated before, it is my understanding that you were offered a rapid test and you refused.
So why was I not offered a rapid test from the get-go?
Objection, relevance.
If she knows, she may answer.
I do not know the answer to that. I have not reviewed the medical record, jail contracts with a medical provider.
Thank you. Next question, if you have one.
So there are more than one type of COVID test administered by this jail.
Again, the jail contracts, Judge, I prefer not to answer that. The jail contracts with a medical provider. I do not direct testing for medical conditions. That would be our medical contract.
I believe the record's clear that a rapid test was offered. It was declined by Mr. Brooks. The record's also clear that
I
he did
object to that,
submit.
Your Honor.
He did submit to a test, but this witness is not able to answer whether that was a rapid or not, given her role in the Waukesha County Jail as the administrator and not in charge of medical. I will find she does not need to answer that question because it's outside her scope. And to further answer it might be speculative. So do you have another question?
So would it be fair to say, you just said it would be speculative, so would it be fair to say that it'd be speculative that the second test would be a rapid test?
I will make a determination on your motion after all of the evidence and testimony on this issue is received.
Is that an
I
answer,
can't
Your Honor?
answer that question at this
Well,
time.
I'm
sir.
asking it of Ms. Wallenhoff. Is it because we just said it would be speculative?
Well, you
So-
were looking at me when you said that.
Well,
So are you, and I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not a witness in this.
The
I
reason
make
why I
the
was-
determination
reason why I was
ultimately.
looking at Your Honor is because
Do you have another question
I'm
for
still trying
Jail
to figure out
Administrator
how-
Wallenhaupt?
I thought testimony was supposed to be the prosecution and the defense's time to
Sir,
ask
do you
questions.
have another question? Otherwise, I'm going to ask the state if they have.
Yeah,
any more
it
for
is.
this
That's what
witness.
she's asking you if you have a question.
Would it be fair to say that it's speculative about what the second test actually was?
No, it's not speculation.
Mr. Brooks, I don't understand your question.
What is
Do you know what
understand about
speculation
it?
means?
If you were offered a test,
Objection, relevance.
no, it's a question.
Hold on.
I'm
You're
getting some-
asking a
I'm going somewhere.
I'll let you get the question out, but I would just note you're asking her a hypothetical that, given her role, she might not be qualified to answer, but you can go ahead and ask it.
Well, it's not hypothetical. It's very logical.
No, it's
If
not.
you were offered a test and you took it, why would you need to essentially take another test that could have been done right from the beginning? If there would be any issues, if there would be
Right, Mr.
There's
Brooks,
only
it's not
issues
relevant
because
what
you
she
made
would
it an
do.
issue.
So that's essentially an argumentative
Okay,
question,
so why
and it's
would I
not
do it?
relevant. So
Why would
sit
I do it
down.
then?
You're done asking questions because you've
So
now
is that a
asked.
judicial determination?
I haven't made a judicial determination yet.
You're
Go ahead,
practicing
Attorney
law from the
Opper.
bench by being able to ask
Mr.
certain
Brooks.
questions of yourself.
Mr. Brooks, okay, here's your warning. I'm giving Attorney Opper an opportunity
So
to
you're
ask this
practicing law from
witness
the bench.
questions, and if you interrupt her, you will be removed to the next courtroom.
I don't consent to being removed to the next courtroom. I don't consent to even being at these proceedings if I'm not able to put on a proper defense, which is my constitutional right to be able to do so.
You don't know
I haven't
how to
agreed
do so.
any
That's the
contracts. I
problem.
haven't consented to any contracts, and I have
Your
not
objection
consented-
is noted. Attorney Opper, go ahead.
I have not consented
Thank you.
to
Ms.
an
Wallenhop,
estoppel.
although Mr. Brooks is under a COVID protocol, is he still allowed to review his discovery materials in his jail cell?
Yes.
Jay Farrell is
To your
deceased.
knowledge, are those materials?
How is whether or not you can review your, how is that irrelevant?
To
Man,
your
this guy is so
knowledge, if you know,
stupid.
Are his discovery materials currently in his jail cell?
Yes, ma'am, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
I object to
Is
that,
he
Your Honor.
still
I object
able?
to that, Your Honor. I'm not allowed
Sir,
to
her
keep.
answer stands. There's no question to which to
I
object.
object to that. There is.
You can't testify at the moment. If you want to provide further information after she is done testifying, I will give you that opportunity.
Will she?
Your
will she be
objection
able to-
is
Will she
overruled.
be able to stay right there so I can ask the question?
It's not your time yet. You have to wait. So this is the final warning. Okay, I've given you a lot of leeway today.
You have not, Your Honor. You haven't.
Yes, she has.
No.
I
you
am
haven't.
turning to Attorney Opper. It is her opportunity, her turn to ask this witness a question.
And it is my right to be able to object, just like she objected.
And you
I was
did.
asked the
Right,
question.
and when the court rules on an objection, usually the party who objects stays silent. I rule on the objection. The parties don't debate the ruling. It's noted for appeal. And then we move on.
Then I would like to put you on notice that I will be appealing that judicial decision that you are making.
Next question, Attorney Opper.
The judicial determination.
Ms. Wallenhop, while on COVID protocol, does Mr. Brooks have access to the tablets in his jail cell?
Yes, ma'am.
And that tablet has legal materials available for him to access if he so chooses. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And while he is on COVID protocol, does he have access to the conference room, which also contains a computer with further legal materials?
Yes, ma'am.
And nothing about the protocol would restrict his access to any of those materials. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
And you've
I object to
indicated
that. I
previously.
object to that respectfully, Your Honor.
So.
What's the objection?
Objection goes to whether there's lots of rules of evidence that apply, but if you're objecting to her answer, that's a different thing. You can argue the meaning of that language. Okay,
not
the
the
objection,
answer.
but then you have to say objection before she answers. You
She
objected
didn't
after
answer.
she
She
answered.
didn't answer the last
The
question.
objection is noted, it's overruled, her answer may stand. Next question.
Ms. Wallenhop, you're aware that there has been digital discovery made available to Mr. Brooks for him to view in the Waukesha County Jail, correct?
I respectfully object to that.
Overruled.
Why are you objecting that?
Correct.
He would view that digital discovery on the computer in the conference room in his pod,
I
correct?
respectfully object to that.
Why?
Overruled, you may answer.
Correct, ma'am.
And
So you're gonna
the
overrule everything, Your Honor?
Everything that
Mr.
needs to be
Brooks.
overruled because it's stupid.
You have got to stop. It's fine if you object. I will rule on it as I deem appropriate under the rules of evidence, which, by the way, I provided a copy for you. See that big book over there?
No, I don't
It
see
has
it.
the criminal
I
statutes.
don't see
It has the traffic code. It
I
has the
don't
rules
see
of evidence. Well, it's on your table. It's behind the microphone, and it's there. I
See,
provided
it's
it
right
to
there.
you as a courtesy,
Bottom
so
right.
that you have that
I
available
don't see
to
that.
you.
I don't see that.
To me.
Right, I'm
Something
directing the
that-
bailiffs to
something
remove
that
him
may
to the
have-
other courtroom.
something
I've
that-
provided ample opportunity for
never-
Mr.
I've
Brooks
never
to
taken
abide by the
anything-
simple
I've
rules
never
of
taken
decorum
anything,
and
Your Honor.
civility.
Your Honor, I don't
He is-
consent or agree to what you are doing.
Your lack of
don't give
consent is
consent.
noted for the
I
record.
don't give consent to an estoppel. I don't.
I'll
give
make a more
consent.
full record when we
I
are
don't give
open
consent
again to
an
the public.
estoppel. I don't give consent to be removed.
Madam
from
Reporter,
being
the
able
record
to
should
exercise
reflect
my
the court is
constitutional
stepping
right.
off the bench. You may.
Nobody's.
I move for a motion
She's
to
just
dismiss.
leaving.
You still haven't even ruled on the claim. There's no one that even has a claim against me here.
You haven't ruled on the claim. There's no one that has a claim against me here. It's a pretrial hearing. What are you talking about? Anyway, that's the end of that. That's one of the most insane sovereign citizen pre-trial hearings I've ever heard. The trial itself is obviously going to be an absolute shit show. I can't wait to watch that. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, she gives him the book and he's like, you didn't give me a book. And it's literally right there. You could see, not just the judge said, oh, you have it. It's literally in the frame. You can see it on his desk. The book that she's talking about is right there. He has it. I don't see that. I never consented to you giving me anything. So yeah, eventually she just couldn't take it anymore and she just split. She said, all right, this is adjourned. Bye. So anyway, that's that. Man. So with all that being said, I want to thank everyone for coming out once again and spending their morning with me. Always a great time. Love all you guys so much. Glad to see so many people in here. We are growing. I'm really getting into this. This is fun stuff. I love doing this. It doesn't matter if you consent to my signing off. I'm going to. Anyway, thank you guys all once again for coming out. Love you. See you next time. And until next time, yeah, I'm all shook up. Oh, yeah, baby.